being empowered is basically being given the authority to do something or to make a specific move, right? And investments are actions that initiate a process for profit or material gain. So, what I want us to do with this empowered investment series is first, I want to give you permission. Empower You podcast is devoted to bringing real world wisdom and encouragement to our listeners, fans, subscribers, and friends. We talk about a multitude of life principles and the process from an economic, societal, and cultural perspective. We believe that in tough conversations and shared wisdom, we can pave the path and leave a ladder for the future. So subscribe to our channel, rate, review, and let us empower you. Welcome to Empower You podcast. My name is Kidboy Cooper. I'm super excited that you are here. So today we are going to be talking about a brand new podcast series that we will be starting next week. Well, today is basically the introduction, right? So what we're going to be talking about next is empowered investments. All right. We have covered a lot of different ground. We talked about building positive relationships. We talked about building successful habits. We've talked about education. We've talked about men's health and the topics that are affecting men and keeping us back from being our fullest selves. We've talked about all these things. And so now it's time to talk about putting the pieces together, right? And in this series called Empowered Investments, we're going to cover a lot of different topics. Some of the topics we're going to cover are things like what is an investment, right? We all know how to spend money, but what is an investment and how do we evaluate proper investments, both in ourselves, right? Which is an intangible amount of value, but then also in the world and what we're actually purchasing with our cash or with our credit or with our debit cards, whatever like that. We're going to talk about community values, right? How your environment can dictate what you consider an investment. Your environment can dictate what you consider an actual valuable endeavor. Your environment is what will inform you and shape you. And so you have to be mindful of the messages and the value system that you're getting from your community, and therefore what is playing out in your investments and the way that you treat yourself and others. We're going to talk about success and setbacks, right? How to achieve great success and then ultimately come back from the setbacks that occur with great successes. Many of us are going to grow, we're going to expand, and we're going to reach levels that maybe we never anticipated before. And that's going to come with a different level of self-reflection and self-understanding because more times than not, we have our own proclivities, our own issues, maybe they're addictions, maybe they're habits, whatever behaviors they are that we have brought with us to our point of success could inevitably be our setbacks. And that's okay. We're designed to go through setbacks, and setbacks are important to help you really understand where you are and who you want to be. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're also going to talk about being intentional with our investments. We're going to talk about escaping velocity, how to get out of that community, that circle that is pulling you back, and what it takes to really break free into a level of understanding and a level of self-awareness, a level of hope really for yourself, because ultimately, there are so many different things that we're trying to run and escape from, right? We all come with our own baggage, our own trauma, our own life situations. And so when we are becoming our best selves, we are practicing self-development, we are disciplining our mind and our spirit so that we can achieve more, so that we can not encounter the same difficulties that have held us back so far. It's gonna take a sense of awareness, right? It's gonna take a sense of urgency, and it's gonna take some intentionality, right? You have to be intentional if you're trying to break a generational curse, or a thinking pattern, or a bad habit, or a scarcity mindset. These things don't change unless you're very intentional. And in this series, we're going to be talking about different things that will help us be intentional. Now, you might ask, why? Why are we talking about empowered investments? Well, because we all know how to spend money, but we really have to change our mindset with how we are earning the money that we spend and how we're spending it, right? Your currency and the way that you spend your currency really says a lot about you. And as we're going through this entire series, I really want to give you permission to invest in yourself, to invest in your dreams and the things that you truly desire to do. There's a couple of definitions I want to read for you guys as we are just introducing us to this brand new series, which I'm super excited about. So one of the things I want to talk about is investments, right? So being empowered is basically being given the authority to do something or to make a specific move, right? And investments are actions that initiate a process for profit or material gain. So what I want us to do with this empowered investment series is, first, I want to give you permission, right? I want to give you permission to spend money, to invest in yourself, to spend your time, to spend your energy differently. I want to give you permission to not care about what's happening on the gram. I want to give you permission to not follow trends. I want to give you permission to not be a trendy dresser, but to instead invest in your education, invest in your environment, invest in your surroundings, go on a trip, do something that expands your mind and helps you rejuvenate yourself so that you can move forward in your life. I want to give you permission to not fit in. I want to give you permission to be the odd man out. I want to give you a space to look at yourself differently, to have a conversation, to listen to folks have a conversation about how they practice their life through their physical, spiritual, emotional investments, right? And I want to give you permission to stop talking to people who don't empower you. I want to give you permission to not text back if you don't feel like it's going anywhere. I want to give you permission to make decisions based off of what is best for you and not what is convenient for other people. And that's one of the things that I want to do. And then the other thing, in regards to investments, I want you to start making a plan of action. I want you to dream big. I'm giving you a space so that you can dream and to look at what it's going to take to actually cement and actually achieve your goals without feeling ashamed, without feeling embarrassed. I want you to dream big. And in this series, I'm giving you permission to change the way that you think about your time, about your income, about the energy that you spend doing on things, about your emotional bandwidth. I'm giving you permission to change it. If you don't feel if you feel pressure to be something around all these other different characters who you're around, when you're on social media, when you're at your job, when you're taking care of your kids, when you're with your family, when you're with your significant other, I want you to come to Empower You Podcast and feel like you don't have to exist in the box that everybody else has you in. Here you are free. You have permission to think outside the box, to make big, audacious goals, to change the way that you're viewing the way that you spend your time, to change the way that you are interpreting what's happening in your life, to change the way that you are experiencing the world. I'm giving you that permission. Okay? So in this next series, the Empower podcast series, we're going to be talking about empowered investments. Okay. I'm so excited for you to be here. I'm so excited that we have an opportunity to learn and to grow from one another. And I'm really looking forward to this series. I got some really awesome folks who will be pouring into us. And I really hope you enjoy it. So make sure you like, you follow, you subscribe, leave a review, and tell me something that you would love to see in the Empowered Investment series. Tell me something that you're curious about. Tell me something that maybe you've been too afraid to share in your immediate circle because people would look at you funny. I want you to know you have the permission to be as big as you want to be in the Empower You podcast community, because the goal is for you to occupy your fullest self. You don't have to live in the box that your spouse has you in, that your kids have you in, that life has you in. You have the power, the permission to reimagine who you are and what it's going to take to actually help you get there. So I'm super excited about this series. Thank you all so much for being Empower You podcast listeners. This is going to be a super fun, very interesting next series, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. So be looking out. Today, I want you to look at what you value, okay? We'll give you a little bit of a thought exercise. Today, I want you to think about the things that you value, whether it's time, money, traveling, your family. I want you to make a list of the things that are just very important to you, non-negotiable things, okay? And as we go through the Empowered Investment series, we're going to help you build your life around the things that are most important to you, okay? And you have permission to reimagine that and to rethink that as much as you need to in order to come up with something that makes sense for you. And if you need help, you can always reach out to me at empoweryoupodcast@gmail.com. You can reach me on any of the social media platforms where Empower You Podcast is. And I would love to be a part of what you're doing and to interact with you in any way that I possibly can, okay? I love y'all. I will talk to you all super soon. Make sure you start writing down what you value, what is most important to you overall out of everything that's going on. Because throughout this series, we're going to be building our lives around the things that are most important to us, not the little stuff that we just end up doing, not the peer pressure, not the comparison game, not trying to keep up with the Joneses, not trying to keep up appearances and be trendy and be liked, not searching for self-validation. What is absolutely important to you? And let's build our lives and make empowered investments to make sure we are always in a state of extreme integrity and that we are building the life that we want, not only today, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. It starts now. So that is it for this introduction to our new series, the Empowered Investment series. I cannot wait to get started. But for now, you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Thanks for listening to Empower You Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review this episode because we would love to hear your takeaways from this discussion. And it helps us reach more listeners just like you. If you'd like daily audio video clips from the podcast, you can find Empower You Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.